Did Rupert Neve release the ultimate mastering processor in one box with the Master Bus transformer? I tried really hard not to release a video instantly when this unit was out because I wanted to try it, I wanted to explore it properly before I go out and make a review video, and I'm glad I did. At first, I wasn't quite sure if I was gonna make a video about this unit, but then once I started posting stories on my Instagram, many of you started asking questions, and I think they are very interesting questions. And as you know, I own the Portico 2 Master Bus processor, I own the SSL Fusion, and now this one. And owning all three and having used all three, of course the Portico 2 and the Fusion, I've had it for years, I have some thoughts and I want to share them with you. In the sound examples, I want to show you how this unit sounds when you push it. Because for this unit, in my opinion, gain staging is crucial. Depending on how you drive it, this sound is going to be completely different, and I'm gonna show you how it sounds when you drive it really hard and how it sounds when you saturate it, especially the Super Silk circuit and the color comp. Let's go for some sound examples and then we'll be back and I'm going to give you my thoughts about the Master Bus transformer versus the SSL Fusion and the Portico Master Bus processor. this is with a high ratio, and I think that now you can tell what this color comp compressor actually does if you drive it really hard.
To nail it, and you don't have to be so low-key, baby. You need to fake it until you make it, and you don't have to be so low-key, baby. You need to fake it until you make it. You know that you can never fail me. You only got one life to nail it, and you don't have to be so low-key, baby. You need to fake it.
I'm going to use it with my Modern 80s Kit Max, and let me show you what it can do with some vintage drum machine drums.
Soy el fuego que arde tu piel, soy el agua que mata tu sed, el castillo, la torre, yo soy la espada que guarda el caudal, tú el aire que respiro yo y la luz de la luna en el mar. La garganta que ansio mojar, que temo ahogar de amor. ¿Y cuáles deseos me vas a dar? Oh, dices tú, mi tesoro, basta con mirarlo, tuyo será y tuyo será. Soy el fuego que arde tu piel,
Soy el agua que mata tu sed, el castillo, la torre, yo soy la espada que guarda el caudal, tú el aire que respiro yo y la luz de la luna en el mar, la garganta que ansio mojar, que temo ahogar de amor.
I hope you enjoyed the sound examples. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Right now I'm going to give you my honest thoughts about this unit versus the Portico 2 Master Bus processor and the SSL Fusion. And right here I want to state this video is not sponsored by Rupert, Neve or by anyone else. It's not sponsored by a store. I bought this unit, but you know me, even if this was a sponsored video, I would give you my honest opinions anyway. But I just have to state it. I love it, so don't think that it's a sponsored video. First, let's compare the Master Bus transformer to the Portico 2 Master Bus processor. And in my opinion, they made these two units to complement each other perfectly. You might say, oh, but there's silk on both units, there's the width for both units, and this is absolutely correct. But the Portico Master Bus processor, I've been using it for ages and it's my secret weapon when it comes to mastering. It's a sound that nothing else can give me, and this is because of the stereo field editor. Now, the stereo field editor in the Rupert Neve Designs Master Bus processor is phenomenal. It can actually give you the option to apply parallel mid-side compression to your signal, and this is a very special sound. It makes mixes sound super wide, but without losing the mid information or sounding too wide, and then the kick drum and the snare gets lost and the vocals get lost. The thing is, it's very tricky to use. You really need to know what you're doing, because I've seen so many videos online about the stereo field editor in the Master Bus processor, and it's not being utilized correctly. At least it's not being utilized the way that I use it, and I get these amazing results out of it. I use it for my client work, and the results are amazing. The second thing on the Portico Master Bus processor is the compressor. The compressor, I personally love it. It's such a versatile, very detailed compressor. If you change the ratio, you will see the difference in the gain reduction. You have a sidechain filter, you have peak and RMS detection. It's such a versatile compressor. It also has a limiter, and I've talked about this on the video that I've done on the SSL Fusion versus the Portico Master Bus processor. I will link it right here, and you can blend the compression with the actual signal, and this again gives you some extra lift in the low level information. This is a unit that I'm never gonna sell, and this is one of the reasons why I wasn't sure if I was gonna jump straight to the Master Bus transformer. The silks right here, you can apply them on the left and right channels separately if you want to, but you can only have one of them, the blue one or the red one. I've always wanted to have both of them. I think that Rupert Neve Designs know this, and they took this opportunity to add this to the Master Bus transformer. And this is one of the big reasons to get the Master Bus transformer if you already have the Portico 2 Master Bus processor. But if it was only for this, I'm not sure if I was going to buy it, to be honest with you. I have the silks right now on 4 devices. I have it on the Master Bus processor, I have it on the Portico channel, I have it on the AXR, which is an emulation, but it sounds extremely close, like scaringly close, and now with the Master Bus transformer. Going to the Master Bus transformer, here we have a high pass filter, which means that if you want to roll off some low end, so that you can add all this beautiful color and saturation, you can do this. And this also makes it more versatile if you want to add this to individual channels like vocals, like pianos, like synths, like guitars. Then the Master Bus transformer has an EQ. This one doesn't really have an EQ. You have the depth EQ and the width EQ, but it's not the same, okay? It's not a traditional EQ. This is more of a traditional EQ, and it sounds gorgeous. The low end is nice and big. It doesn't sound boomy, it doesn't sound woolly. And the top end, it has this beautiful silky top end that I love when it comes to Rupert Neve equipment. The top end on the Neves, in my opinion, is one of the best ones, along with the Manleys and the Mag EQ. Then we have the color comp, which is again very different to the compressor that you find on the Portico Master Bus processor. From my tests, I like to compress quite a bit, even without the sidechain filter sometimes, and I just like to blend it in, just to get a little bit more lift for the low-level information. Also, it adds lots of harmonics, lots of color, especially with the high ratio. It's not your bread and butter compressor, something that you would use to tame dynamics, if that makes sense. The Portico Master Bus processor is great for this. It can really tame your dynamics, and it's so precise. Then, the width. I have to say, the stereo field editor is phenomenal, but the width is something that I would reach very often to get something really wide. To my understanding, it works in parallel. It really keeps the integrity of the stereo information, but it enhances the things that are on the side. The stereo field editor can do this, but it's a little bit harder to use because you have to use the width EQ if you want to achieve a similar result, but it's not the same. It won't sound the same. And then when it comes to the Super Silk, to my ears, the Super Silk on this unit is way more prominent and aggressive than the Master Bus processor. And this was a great surprise for me because it really gives you a different sound. Also because of the harmonics, and again, the harmonics knob is quite controversial. I've seen many reports online. Oh, does it do anything? Yes, it does, but you really have to drive the circuit quite hard in order to be able to hear this. And also, when you turn it from 0 to all the way up, it's kind of weird. I might be wrong, but it takes a little bit of time for the effect to kick in. Just a little bit of time. I'm not sure why that is, and maybe I can talk with Rupert, Neve, and figure out why this is happening. A small complaint that I have for the Master Bus transformer compared to the Master Bus processor is that it has no power switch in the front. Now, of course, I have everything connected to a power supply, so I just turn it on and all my gear turns on, but I still like to have some gear off if I don't use it, even if I spend the whole day in the studio. I think that for the SSL Fusion, for the price, I can justify it not having a power switch, but for the price of the Master Bus transformer, I would really like to have a power switch. There is a power switch in the back, but you're never gonna use this. This is something that I was like, what? No power switch? Anyway, now let's talk about the Fusion, because this is where these units are a little bit more similar. The Master Bus processor is not really similar to the Fusion, but it was the only thing that existed that did kind of the same thing. The Master Bus transformer is way closer to the Fusion in my opinion. So when it comes to the Fusion, high pass filter, they both have it. Then the EQ. I was never a huge fan of the EQ on the Fusion. I think it's a nice EQ to use for mixing scenarios. For mastering, I was never using it. I think that the Fusion was aimed more towards mixing, you know, just add it on several buses on your mixing stage and maybe not so much for the mastering stage. Then we have the drive on the Fusion, and honestly, I like the drive on the Fusion. I think it's a very, very interesting module. The problem for me with the drive on the Fusion is that it's noisy. It introduces quite a bit of noise. So for mastering, it's a no-no for me. I can't use it for mastering. In the context of a mix, no problem. I can use an expander, I can use a gate, I can do all my little tricks and the noise disappears. But in the context of a mastering, it's a little bit too noisy. But there's another problem with the Fusion drive, and this is that when you drive it hard, your two channels start shifting when it comes to the stereo field. So you might see a mono signal being louder on one channel all of a sudden, and you're like, what's going on there? And apparently this is something that's a common thing with all the Fusions. I thought it was a problem with mine, but I didn't bother sending it to SSL because I figured everybody reports this. And let's be realistic, for the price point, you can't expect mastering grade equipment. If we want to be 100% realistic, this is the case. It's not mastering grade. The high frequency compressor, I mean, it doesn't relate to the color comp. I prefer to do these things with plugins, to be honest with you. Then the width was something that I really enjoyed on the Fusion. Again, I've been using it mainly for mixing, just to widen some pianos, especially the space control on the Fusion added something really nice on electric guitars, and this is the main reason that I've been using it. The transformer on the Fusion, yeah, it's something that I've always turned off just because I was always following Fusion with maybe the Portico or another piece of equipment that had amazing transformers. A question I received was, are you gonna keep the Fusion now that you got the Master Bus transformer? And the answer is, I'm not sure about it. The Master Bus transformer overlaps with the Fusion quite a bit. So to answer your question, I am contemplating about whether I should sell the SSL Fusion or keep it. I know I'm not gonna use it as much now. One reason why I would consider selling the Fusion would be actually to get space on my rack to add a different piece of gear that might be more useful. That's how I think about it. It's not about, oh, selling it so I can get some money back. I think if I stick to the SSL, maybe a better fit for me at this stage would be the Master Bus Plus. Maybe I'm going to sell it and replace it with that. So in a nutshell, if you have a Portico 2 Master Bus processor and at some point you add the Master Bus transformer, you'll be extremely happy. These two units complement each other. Actually, for my setup on my mastering patch bay on the Liaison, I have both of them in series. So the signal goes first to the MBT and then it goes to the MBP, the Master Bus processor, because it also has the limiter, which is really useful. If you're considering the Fusion versus the MBT, it's all a matter of budget. Let's be real. This is the real differentiator there. Fusion is a very well-priced unit, and for the price, it's great. It's fantastic. It's not mastering grade. Nobody claims it to be mastering grade. I don't think that SSL says, oh, it's a mastering grade machine anyway. The SSL Fusion is a little bit easier maybe to work with because it's not so reliant on the gain staging. You can still gain staging, but it's not going to make like this huge, massive difference that you're going to get with different gain staging from the MBT. The MBT sounds massively different with different gain staging options. If you have the budget, totally get the Master Bus Transformer. There's no question about it. Is the Master Bus Transformer the ultimate mastering solution? I would say no, it's not the one box solution for everything mastering because it doesn't have a limiter, it doesn't have a compressor that more traditional that can do all the dynamics processing that you might need. But, and this is a big but, this machine, if you put it on your Master Bus, it's going to make your track sound better. It's going to make it sound wider. Even if you don't know what you're doing, minus the gain staging thing, you're going to get a richer, fuller, wider sound, which is what most people associate with mastering. Mistakenly, it's not just that, but this is a reality. I have to be in the real world and tell you what this is all about. It's not a magic box, there's no magic box, but if you were going to get one unit and you had the money and you knew your gain staging, go for it. You're not going to be disappointed. If this video helped you at all, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Check out my instruments, my Modern 80s Kit Max and the Apollo expansion for Patch Shop. If you grab one of those, you're supporting the channel. Let me know which piece of gear I should do next. And if you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy this video or this video. Thank you so much, my friends. Bye-bye.